The 5 drinks silently destroying your prostate health after 60. If you're a man over 60, there are certain drinks and beverages you might be consuming every single day that are silently destroying your prostate health. And the worst part? You probably have no idea you're doing it. I'm Dr. Jocelyn, and I've been a urologist for 12 years. In that time, I've treated thousands of men dealing with prostate issues, enlarged prostates, frequent nighttime bathroom trips, uncomfortable urination, and that constant anxiety about finding a restroom wherever they go. And you know what I've discovered? Many of these men are unknowingly making their symptoms dramatically worse through what they're drinking every single day. Now, I'm not talking about the obvious culprits everyone already knows about. I'm talking about specific beverages that seem perfectly innocent, drinks that are marketed as healthy, drinks you might even think are good for you, but that are wreaking absolute havoc on your prostate and bladder. Here's the thing. Once you understand which drinks are causing problems and exactly why they matter, you can make simple swaps that could genuinely transform how you feel. We're talking about better sleep, fewer bathroom trips, less discomfort, and more freedom to actually live your life without constantly worrying about your prostate. Before we dive in, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button right now. It helps more men like you find this critical information. Drop a comment below telling me where you're watching from. I genuinely love connecting with you. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and click that button, because I share honest, practical health guidance for men every single week. Now, let me show you exactly which drinks are destroying your prostate and what you should be drinking instead. The most dangerous misconception. Let me start by addressing the most dangerous misconception I hear in my office almost daily. The myth goes like this: what you drink doesn't really matter for prostate health. As long as you're staying hydrated and avoiding excessive alcohol, you're fine. That couldn't be further from the truth. Your prostate doesn't exist in isolation. It's intimately connected to your bladder, your urinary tract, and your entire hormonal and inflammatory system. What you drink directly affects all of these systems in ways most men never stop to consider. Think about it. Certain beverages irritate your bladder lining, causing it to become hypersensitive and making you feel like you need to urinate constantly. Other drinks increase inflammation throughout your body, including in your prostate tissue. Some beverages interfere with your hormone balance, potentially accelerating prostate growth. And still others act as diuretics, forcing your kidneys to produce more urine and overwhelming an already struggling system. Here's what I find most doctors don't take the time to explain. Your prostate symptoms aren't just about the physical size of your prostate. They're about inflammation, irritation, hormone balance, and how your bladder and urinary tract are responding to everything you're putting into your body. I've seen men whose prostate symptoms improved by 40 to 50% simply by changing what they drink, without any medication changes, without surgery, just by being thoughtful and strategic about their beverage choices. And I've seen men continue to suffer needlessly because no one ever took the time to explain that their daily coffee habit, their healthy fruit juice, or their evening routine was making everything dramatically worse. So if you've been told that diet doesn't really matter for prostate health, or that you just need to wait until symptoms are bad enough for medication or surgery, that is incomplete information. You have far more control than you've been led to believe. Now, you might be wondering, Dr. Jocelyn, if these drinks are so harmful, why hasn't my doctor warned me about them? That's a great question, and here's my honest answer. Most urologists are trained to diagnose prostate conditions and prescribe medications or perform procedures. We're not always trained to spend meaningful time on the dietary and lifestyle factors that could help prevent you from needing those interventions in the first place. It's not that we don't care. It's that the healthcare system is structured to treat problems, not prevent them. And a 15-minute appointment doesn't leave much room for deep conversations about beverage choices. But in my 12 years of practice, I've made it my personal mission to understand not just how to treat prostate problems medically, but how to help my patients truly optimize their prostate health through lifestyle modifications that actually work. And I've seen clear, consistent patterns. The men who consume certain drinks regularly have notably worse symptoms: more frequent urination, more urgency, worse sleep disruption, more inflammation on examination. The men who avoid those same drinks, or who make specific swaps, consistently report feeling better. This isn't just my clinical observation. There's solid research backing this up. But research doesn't change lives unless it's translated into practical guidance that men can actually understand and apply. So I'm going to walk you through the 5 specific drinks that are harming your prostate, explain exactly why they're problematic, and give you better alternatives that won't leave you feeling deprived. Let's get into it. Drink number 5, sugary sodas and energy drinks. Let's start with drink number 5. This one might seem obvious, but I need to explain why it's so much worse for your prostate than most men realize. Regular consumption of sugary sodas and energy drinks is absolutely devastating for prostate health, and in multiple ways simultaneously. I know these aren't considered healthy by anyone, but many men still drink them regularly, sometimes daily, without understanding the specific harm they're causing to their prostate. Here's what happens when you consume these beverages. First, they're loaded with refined sugar, which causes massive blood sugar spikes. Those spikes trigger inflammation throughout your entire body, including in your prostate tissue. Chronic inflammation is one of the primary drivers of prostate enlargement and discomfort. Second, they often contain enormous amounts of caffeine, sometimes 150 to 300 milligrams per serving. Caffeine is both a bladder irritant and a diuretic. It makes your bladder hypersensitive, driving urgency and frequency. It increases urine production, overwhelming a system that's already under stress, and it can worsen that deeply frustrating feeling of incomplete bladder emptying. Third, many of these drinks contain artificial ingredients and additives that further irritate your bladder and urinary tract. And fourth, this is important, they contribute to weight gain and metabolic dysfunction, both of which are strongly and consistently linked to worsening prostate problems. Let me tell you about a patient I'll call Marcus. Marcus was 64, and he was drinking 2 to 3 energy drinks per day to combat his fatigue. He thought they were helping him function, but his prostate symptoms were absolutely miserable. Urinating every hour during the day, up 4 to 5 times every night, constantly uncomfortable. When we eliminated the energy drinks, just that one change, his symptoms improved by about 30% within 2 weeks. He was genuinely shocked that something so simple could make such a difference. Now I know what you're thinking, but Dr. Jocelyn, I need the caffeine to function. I'm exhausted without it. Here's the truth. That fatigue you're feeling might actually be caused in part by the poor sleep quality you're experiencing because of these drinks. It's a vicious cycle. You're tired because you're not sleeping well. You drink caffeine to compensate. The caffeine worsens your prostate symptoms and disrupts your sleep further, which makes you more tired, so you drink even more caffeine. Break the cycle. Eliminate or drastically reduce sugary sodas and energy drinks. If you need caffeine, we'll discuss better sources shortly, but these particular beverages are doing far more harm than good. Drink number 4, commercial fruit juices. Now we're at drink number 4, and this is the one that surprises most men because it's actively marketed as a healthy choice. Commercial fruit juices, even the 100% juice varieties, are problematic for prostate health and should be significantly limited or avoided after 60. I know this feels counterintuitive. Fruit juice is natural, right? It has vitamins. It seems like a reasonable, wholesome choice compared to soda. But here's what most men don't realize. Commercial fruit juice is essentially concentrated fruit sugar, without the fiber that would normally slow its absorption into your bloodstream. You're getting all the sugar content of multiple pieces of fruit in a single glass, causing the same inflammatory blood sugar spikes we just discussed. Let me put this in real perspective. A 12-ounce glass of orange juice contains roughly the same amount of sugar as a 12-ounce can of cola. Yes, one comes from fruit rather than corn syrup, but your body responds to them very similarly in terms of blood sugar impact. And that's before we even address the acidity issue. Orange juice, grapefruit juice, cranberry juice, these are all highly acidic. That acidity can irritate your bladder lining directly, making it more sensitive and causing you to feel the urge to urinate more frequently and urgently. There's also the volume factor. When you drink juice, you're often consuming a large amount of liquid in a very short period, rapidly filling your bladder. For someone already dealing with an enlarged prostate, that creates immediate, uncomfortable urinary urgency. I had a patient named Gerald who was 68. He was having a large glass of orange juice with breakfast every morning and a glass of cranberry juice in the evening, because he'd heard cranberry was beneficial for urinary health. His daytime frequency was terrible, and he was up multiple times every night. When we eliminated the juice and replaced it with whole fruit eaten throughout the day, just that change brought notable improvement within a week. The whole fruit delivered the beneficial nutrients along with fiber to slow absorption, without the blood sugar spike and direct bladder irritation from concentrated juice. Replace commercial fruit juices with water, herbal tea, or whole fruits. If you truly love juice, limit yourself to a small 4-ounce serving occasionally, not multiple large glasses daily, and avoid it entirely in the evening. Drink number 3, excessive coffee. Now we're at drink number 3, and I know this will be difficult for many of you to hear. Excessive coffee consumption, especially multiple cups spread throughout the day, is significantly worsening your prostate symptoms. Notice I said excessive. I'm not telling you that you need to completely eliminate coffee, but if you're drinking 3, 4, or 5 cups a day, you need to understand exactly what that's doing to your prostate and bladder. Here's the biology. Coffee contains caffeine, which functions as both a bladder irritant and a diuretic. As a bladder irritant, caffeine stimulates the detrusor muscle in your bladder wall, causing it to contract more frequently and producing that urgent, "I need to go right now" feeling. It also makes your bladder hypersensitive to even small amounts of urine, so you feel full when you aren't. As a diuretic, caffeine signals your kidneys to produce more urine, so you're not just feeling like you need to go more often, your body is actually generating more urine for you to deal with. Now combine those effects with an enlarged prostate already making it difficult to empty your bladder fully, and you can see exactly why this becomes such a serious problem. Coffee also disrupts your sleep architecture. Even coffee consumed in the afternoon can meaningfully impact your sleep quality that night. And poor sleep worsens inflammation, which worsens prostate symptoms, creating yet another vicious cycle. Let me tell you about Richard, who was 71. He was drinking 4 to 5 cups of coffee throughout the day. His morning cup, a mid-morning cup, an afternoon pick-me-up, sometimes even an evening cup. His urinary frequency was constant, he wasn't sleeping, and he was utterly miserable. We made a simple deal. Richard could keep his morning coffee, 1 good cup that he could genuinely enjoy, but no more coffee after noon and no more mindless refills throughout the day. Within a week, he noticed improvement. Within a month, he told me his symptoms had improved by at least 40%, and he was sleeping noticeably better. He also discovered he'd been drinking most of his coffee out of habit and boredom, not because he actually wanted it. Practically speaking, limit coffee to 1 to 2 cups maximum, consumed in the morning only. No coffee after 2 p.m., full stop. For afternoon and evening, switch to decaf or herbal tea. And ask yourself honestly, are you drinking coffee because you love it or because you're tired? If it's fatigue driving the habit, address that through better sleep and nutrition, not through caffeine that's actively making your prostate symptoms worse. Drink number 2, alcohol. Now we're at drink number 2, and this one affects quality of life in multiple compounding ways. Regular alcohol consumption, particularly beer and hard liquor, is one of the worst things you can do for your prostate health after 60. Here's why alcohol is so problematic. First, like caffeine, alcohol is a direct bladder irritant. It makes your bladder hypersensitive and triggers that urgent need to urinate. Second, alcohol is a powerful diuretic. It inhibits the hormone ADH, antidiuretic hormone, that normally helps your kidneys retain water, meaning you produce significantly more urine while drinking. Third, alcohol increases systemic inflammation throughout your body, including in your prostate tissue. Fourth, it severely disrupts sleep architecture. Even though it may help you fall asleep initially, it impairs the deep restorative sleep stages your body needs to repair itself. And fifth, alcohol affects your hormone balance, potentially influencing testosterone and estrogen levels in ways that directly impact prostate health. Beer is particularly problematic because it combines all of these alcohol-related effects with a large volume of liquid consumed relatively quickly. You're getting the diuretic effect, the bladder irritation, the inflammation, and you're flooding your system with fluid all at once. I had a patient named Thomas who was 69. He had 2 to 3 beers every evening as his wind-down routine after a long day. His nighttime bathroom trips were constant, 4 to 5 times every night. He and his wife were both exhausted. His quality of life was genuinely terrible. When Thomas eliminated his evening beers, just that single change, he went from 4 to 5 nighttime trips down to 1 to 2. His sleep improved dramatically. His energy improved. His relationship with his wife improved because they were finally both resting. He described feeling like a completely different person. Practically speaking, limit alcohol to no more than 2 to 3 drinks per week, not per day. Avoid alcohol entirely within 4 to 5 hours of bedtime. If you do drink, choose wine over beer when possible. And ask yourself honestly, is this genuine enjoyment or habit? If it's habit, it's time to change it. Drink number 1, artificially sweetened diet drinks. And now we've arrived at drink number 1, the most unexpected, most insidious, and potentially most damaging beverage for prostate health. Artificially sweetened diet drinks, diet sodas, zero-sugar energy drinks, sugar-free flavored waters, are surprisingly harmful for your prostate and bladder. This shocks most men because they genuinely believe they're making a responsible, health-conscious choice by choosing the diet version. At least it's not sugar, they tell me. But here's what the research is increasingly showing. Artificial sweeteners are potent bladder irritants, potentially even more irritating than sugar in certain cases. Sweeteners like aspartame, sucralose, saccharin, and acesulfame K can cause significant bladder irritation and inflammation. Many men report that diet sodas make their urinary urgency and frequency noticeably worse than regular sodas do. There's also emerging evidence that artificial sweeteners may disrupt gut bacteria and affect inflammation and metabolic health in ways we're still working to fully understand. And here's the psychological trap that I see constantly. Because these drinks are marketed as guilt-free, men tend to consume them in far larger quantities than they ever would regular sugary drinks. You might have one regular soda, but 4 or 5 diet sodas throughout the day. And most diet drinks still contain caffeine, giving you all of the bladder irritation and diuretic effects of caffeine stacked directly on top of the artificial sweetener irritation. I had a patient named James who was 66. He'd switched to diet sodas years ago thinking he was being health conscious. He was drinking 4 to 5 cans every day. His bladder was constantly irritated. He had urgency and frequency that was completely ruling his life. When we eliminated the diet drinks and replaced them with water and occasional herbal tea, his symptoms improved so dramatically that he couldn't believe it. Within 2 weeks, he told me he felt like a genuinely different person. His urgency decreased. His frequency decreased. He felt in control again. And here's the important part. James had tried eliminating various foods from his diet to improve his symptoms, but he had never once considered that his healthy diet drinks were the source of the problem. He'd actually been increasing his consumption of them, thinking they were the safe alternative. Eliminate artificially sweetened beverages. They are not helping you. They may be significantly hurting you. Your practical action plan. Let's bring everything together into a clear, actionable plan you can begin implementing immediately. Step 1. Eliminate or drastically reduce sugary sodas and energy drinks. Address your underlying fatigue rather than masking it with stimulants that worsen your prostate problems. Step 2. Replace commercial fruit juices with whole fruits. If you do have juice occasionally, limit it to a small 4-ounce serving in the morning, not multiple large glasses throughout the day or in the evening. Step 3. Limit coffee to 1 to 2 cups maximum, consumed only in the morning before 2 p.m. Switch to decaf or herbal tea for afternoon and evening beverages. Step 4. Reduce alcohol to 2 to 3 drinks per week maximum, not daily. Never consume alcohol within 4 to 5 hours of bedtime. When you do drink, choose wine over beer. Step 5. Completely eliminate artificially sweetened diet drinks. They are not the healthy alternative you've been led to believe, especially for your bladder and prostate. What to drink instead? Plain water is your best foundation. Aim for 6 to 8 glasses daily, front-loaded to morning and early afternoon. Herbal teas like chamomile, peppermint, and ginger are excellent choices. Avoid green and black tea, which still contain caffeine. Water with slices of fresh lemon, cucumber, or berries adds gentle flavor without irritation. Small amounts of unsweetened almond or coconut milk are also fine options. The timing strategy is crucial and often overlooked. Front-load your fluid intake to the morning and early afternoon. Drink the majority of your daily fluids before 4 to 5 p.m. Keep fluids minimal in the evening, nothing within 2 to 3 hours of bedtime if at all possible. This allows you to stay properly hydrated throughout the day while dramatically minimizing those disruptive nighttime bathroom trips. Start by implementing 1 or 2 of these changes. Master them, then build from there. You don't need to overhaul everything overnight. Small, consistent changes are what create lasting, meaningful results. I want to take a moment to speak to something I see in my office every single day. Prostate problems can steal your freedom. They make men anxious about leaving the house, about attending events, about traveling, about ever sleeping through the night again. They affect relationships when someone is chronically exhausted and uncomfortable. They make men feel old before their time. And there's often this deep sense of helplessness, like this is simply the new reality, something to be endured, something that will only get worse. But I need you to hear this clearly. You have more control than you think. The changes we've discussed today aren't about deprivation or sacrifice. They're about understanding what helps your body function at its best and what quietly works against it. They're about making informed choices that support your health rather than silently undermine it. You're not giving up enjoyment by changing what you drink. You're gaining better sleep, more comfort, more freedom, and far less daily anxiety. The men in my practice who make these changes consistently report feeling significantly better, not just physically, but emotionally. They feel more in control, more capable, more like themselves. You deserve that. You deserve to feel comfortable in your own body. You deserve good sleep. You deserve freedom from constant worry. And these simple changes can genuinely get you there. We've covered 5 critical beverages that are damaging your prostate health, and more importantly, what you can drink instead. You now understand why sugary sodas and energy drinks, commercial fruit juices, excessive coffee, regular alcohol, and artificially sweetened diet drinks are all working against you. And you have a clear, practical path forward. These changes don't require a prescription. They don't cost extra money. They'll likely save you money. They simply require understanding and consistent application. Your prostate health is not entirely predetermined by your age or your genetics. Your daily choices, including what you drink, matter enormously. If this video helped you today, please hit that like button. It genuinely helps other men find this information. Drop a comment below and let me know which drink surprised you most, or share your experience with prostate issues and what changes have helped you. I read every comment. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do that now. I create videos like this every week, practical, evidence-based guidance for men who want to protect their health, dignity, and vitality as they age. You don't have to accept constant discomfort and anxiety as your new normal. You don't have to let prostate problems control your life. Small, strategic changes in what you drink can create real, meaningful improvements in how you feel every single day. Your prostate health is worth protecting. Your quality of life is worth fighting for. And you are absolutely worth taking care of. I'm Dr. Jocelyn, and I'll see you in the next one.